Hey everyone. So yesterday in science, you watched a video on the solar system. If you were in my class, I think the video was a little bit longer. If you were in other classes, I think they watched a vocabulary video. But today, I just wanted to go over the eight planets, the order the eight planets are in relation to distance from the sun, and a few characteristics of those planets. I'm also going to come up with an acronym to help us memorize the order of the planets. And you're going to see what that looks like in just a few minutes. I'm going to try to keep this as quick as possible because you know I like to talk. So um, here's the sun. All of the planets in our solar system orbit around the sun. So what that means is all the planets in our solar system go around in a circle around the sun. That's called an orbit. Each planet has a different sized orbit. Mercury's orbit is smaller, so it takes less time to make an orbit around the sun than Jupiter, for example. See how Jupiter has to go way out here. That's because Jupiter is farther away from the sun than Mercury. So Mercury is our first planet, and it is closest to the sun. Now, Mercury is very, very hot. In fact, I was reading that it can actually reach up to 800 degrees because of how close it is to the sun. Interestingly enough, it is not the hottest planet. Venus is the hottest planet, and there's some different reasons why, but we won't go into that today. But just know Mercury is very, very hot because it is the closest planet to the sun. So that is number one, Mercury. Two is Venus. And as you can see, Venus has a little bit longer of an orbit than Mercury does because it is a little bit farther away from the sun. Third is our planet, Earth. So we have Mercury, Venus, then Earth. Earth is the third planet from the sun, and it has a little bit longer of an orbit than Mercury and Venus. So there we are. Mars is the fourth planet. I made it red because Mars is called the red planet because it is red. And it is the fourth planet from the sun. As you can see, here's its orbit. I'm going around it. It's not a perfect drawing because I did run out of room being on a computer screen, but I tried my best. So these are the first four planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. These are called, let me draw it here, select my color. I don't think you can see the options I'm using to select my colors on the bottom, but they are there. These are called the inner planets. Oh my goodness, I can't spell. There we go. The inner planets, because those are like in the sun's inner ring. It's kind of like if you have friends and they're really close to you, that's kind of your inner social group. Those are your inner friends, whatever. Those first four planets are the closest to the sun. We also separate the inner planets from the other planets because the inner planets are mainly made up of solid rock. So like Earth, we're basically just a big floating ball of rock. The other planets in the inner planets there are similar to us. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars are all made up of solid. So if these are called the inner planets, I want you to start thinking about what these four planets are going to be called. So what's the opposite of inner or in? So let's go over these last four planets. So first we had Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Just repeating it over and over again helps you memorize it, helps me memorize it. So that's why I keep doing that. Fifth is Jupiter. Notice the size of Jupiter. It is the largest planet in our solar system. So it follows this line right here, and it goes down and around, and it has the fifth largest orbit, and it is the fifth planet from the sun. So it's a little bit farther away than Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, and that is Jupiter. Next is Saturn. Saturn is that planet with the rings around it. So it is the sixth planet from the sun. It's a little bit smaller than Jupiter. And just so you know, as we start getting, from Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, those planets are colder. Because why? Well, they're farther away from the sun. So next would be Saturn. We already did Saturn. Next would be Uranus. It is the 7th planet, and here's its orbit line. And it's pretty far out. Again, this is not 100% accurate to how close the planets are. There's just no way I would ever be able to fit it on a computer screen. That's how big our solar system is. There's no way I could even fit it on planet Earth. And then last, we have Neptune. Neptune is our final planet and is the 8th planet, and it goes around this large orbit, and it is going to be cold, very cold there because it is very far away from the sun. So I asked you, if Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars were the inner planets, what did you think Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are going to be called? Those are going to be called the outer planets. So let me circle these. All right. Those are called the outer planets. And it's kind of like when you have, so the inner planets are like your closest friends. And then you have those friends that they're your friends or your buddies, but you're not super duper close with them. Those are like the outer planets to the sun. So they're there, but they're just kind of far away. So these inner planets are like your best buds here. And then the outer planets are kind of those friends that you just see every now and then. I told you the inner planets were made up of solid rock, mostly. The outer planets are made up mostly of gases. So they're quite a bit different than our inner planets here. The outer planets are mainly made up of gases. So that's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. All right, so I'm going to save this picture, and then I'm going to clear it. Oh, I just cleared that part. Okay, let me actually stop sharing. There's big me. And give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and I am going to show you an acronym to help you memorize the order of the planets. So I kept repeating them in the first part of the video because I wanted you to memorize those. Mercury was the closest to the sun, so it is for, I can't type today. It is first, then we have Venus, Earth, Mars. Those are our inner planets, and those are the first 4 planets, like the red, first 4 planets. Then we have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. So now I'm going to make another text box here. Make sure it's lined up. Use a different color. Let's use blue. All right, and we're going to make up an acronym. An acronym is just using the first letter of the word to make up a phrase to help you memorize something. So Mercury starts with an M, so my first letter in the phrase is going to start with an M, and I'm going to do my. Now, this is an acronym I used last year. You don't have to use this acronym if you don't need to. You can make up your own. If you make up your own, comment on a post on my team's page and let me know what your acronym is. I'd like to hear it. So my, V for Venus, so my very, E for Earth, my very excited, M for Mars, my very excited mother, J for Jupiter, so my very excited mother just, S for Saturn, my very excited mother just sent, U for Uranus, so us, my very excited mother just sent us. And then last but not least, we have Neptune. So N for Neptune, my very excited mother just sent us nachos. So that's kind of how I help myself remember the order of the planets when I get stuck on it. Like, my very excited mother just sent us nachos. If I think of the first letter, I know what those planets are called. The only ones you might get mixed up are Mercury and Mars because both start with an M. But just remember, Mercury is the closest to the sun, so it's going to be the first one. I'm going to save this now, and I will post these on Teams. If you have any questions, let us know, and I hope you have a great week.